Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My channel name is Queens HB. If this is your first time watching my video, you are highly welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so very much. In today's video, I'll be showing you how I transform my gorgeous model. The first thing first is cleaning her face thoroughly, because cleaning face before applying makeup is an important step that you do not want to miss out, because you do not want to be applying makeup on a dirty canvas. So to achieve a flawless makeup, you need to clean your client's face thoroughly. After I'm done with that, I go in with my Essence moisturizer, which I use my brush to spread it over. Then I use my hand to dip into her skin very well and allow it to dry before I go in with my Cetaphil moisturizer. When I'm done with applying my Cetaphil moisturizer, I go in with my sweat block to apply on the key areas apart from the under eyes, and I still use my hand to massage it into her skin again. These steps are very important steps. I use only two moisturizer because that's what I'm using, but I ensure that they are generous on her face, and then I use the sweat block on the key areas. When I'm done with that, I go in with my Kiss Beauty spray and allow it to dry before I go in with my Superstay foundation. This Superstay foundation is a good foundation that I love using because it's watery in nature, so it's very easy to blend. As you can see, the small portion I applied on her face is already enough to go around the face. So that's why I really like watery foundations. They are easy to blend and they really give this skin look texture. So the best foundation you can use is a watery like foundation. Then after that, I go in with my Flawless concealer, 2 shades lighter than her skin for the inner side and for the key zone places. When I'm done with that, I go in with my Zickel concealer. These two moisturizers are quite watery, but the Flawless concealer is a little bit thicker than the Zickel concealer, but it's a good concealer. And they are also the affordable concealers. Then when I'm done with that, I started blending from the mouth side upward. Then I blend the inner side, outside of the inner side, before I blend the inside, because I like my concealer to stay inside for a while before I blend it in to give me a full coverage. So when I'm done with that, if you notice, I'm working alone because I do not have anyone yet to be giving product. So I take my product by myself. So that's why if you see some places I have to leave and go and carry the product to apply on our face. Anyway, Sham, when I'm done with applying the concealer and blending it the outer side, then I go in with my contour. I use my VBT 2 shade darker than her skin for the contour, and I started from the cheekbone. If you want to apply contour, you have to start from the cheekbone and go gradually to the hairlines. And when you are doing your contour, make sure that you are following her hairline so that you can still get her head shape without any issue, because some people have issue with their contour because they are not actually following the hairline, they are just doing it the way they see fit. So imagine giving a person that had round face a different head figure with contour. So after the makeup, it will look different because that is not her face structure. You are giving her another face structure entirely. So the best is to actually follow the hairline to get her head shape. When I'm done with that, then I go in with my blush. I use my lipstick palette blush for the contour, which I really like using because this palette that I used is the contour I always use. Firstly, they are not mattifying; they are actually easy to blend, because those blush that are not easy to blend can be very difficult. And yes, I also contour her nose with the foundation. Then I blend it in with my beauty blender. And I forgot to tell you that the beauty blender I'm using is not a dry beauty blender. It's actually soaked in water and press out the water totally in it, because you do not want to use a dry beauty blender during makeup. It will not actually stay on the face. It will be, there will be patches all over the face when you're using a dry beauty blender. So back to my contour. That is the lipstick contour on my hand. It's actually a lipstick palette which I bought at quite, I think, 6k. Yes, it's actually affordable. And before I was planning to use a pink color, but because she's dark in complexion, I decided to go for red, something that will pop out her face. And if you want to apply a blush, make sure it's as little as possible. If I notice that my blush is a little much, I always reduce it on my hand before going all over the face, because you do not want your blush, it's supposed to be a mild application instead of much application. So you apply it on the two sides of the cheek, and then I go in with only the beauty blender and apply little on the tips of her nose to just bring the pop out more, And by the way, kindly subscribe if you have not subscribed to my channel. I would really appreciate you subscribing to my channel so that more other people can see, and kindly like my videos as well so that I will feel more ginger to do more. Ginger. When I'm done with that, I ensure that I blend in to all the faces with my beauty blender, because I do not like any kind of lines on the face. I like all to be together, so I go in with this another side of the beauty blender to just massage everything into the skin and blend all together, the contour, the foundation, the blush, the concealer, that will all enter the skin together. When I'm done with that, I use the same side I use in blending the concealer and blend back the remaining of the concealer inside, so that to give me a full coverage. So see the side that I have blended, see how full coverage it is. And I think doing this method you will not have any issue with breakage or your lines still showing under the eyes, because it give a full coverage and give a brighter under eyes. So it's when your under is a little bit bright, it actually show the contour compared to when it is the same look with the body or with the face. When I'm done with that, I go in with my setting spray. I'm using the RCM setting spray powder. But I before I set, I blend, then set. I blend with one side. When I'm done, then I use the other side to apply the setting powder, so that it won't have any crack under the eyes. That's why it's best to blend before you apply your setting powder. So I apply it to all the places where I put my concealer, the under eyes, the mouth area, everywhere that I put my concealer, so that it will not slip away. I mean, to give you a brighter look and it won't be watery, because concealer, when you do not apply any setting spray, it tends to be something like oily. So that's the function of this setting spray, and you do not apply much. And I'm using the same beauty blender I used to blend all the other places instead of a dry beauty blender, because when you use a wet beauty blender it doesn't really fetch much setting powder. When I'm done with the setting, I go in with my powder, her skin color powder, to apply all the necessary place. Then I go with her a 2 shade darker than her skin color powder for the contour. The way I did my contour, I just follow the brush in the contour side, and then I go in with my eyeshadow, because I'm using yellow and orange for the blush. So I go into my eyeshadow and apply the contour around the side where I apply my blush. sorry, I actually going with my eyeshadow so that I will put it where I apply my blush. And I also going with my powder also for the nose contour so that I will remove all the any possible water or any possible oils that will come from the foundation I used to apply the nose contour. I did the video a little slow so that you guys can see what is really happening instead of me just talking. That's why some places I have to be quiet because I have talked past the stage and I do not want to talk it all over before the main thing happened. That's why I give it some time. Then I go in with my H control. That is the one I'm using for the brows. After I apply it, I use the back of my brush to press it down so that there will be no hair that will lift out when I'm drawing the brows. And I've already carved her brows to the shape I want when I draw it, so it's not going to be much problem, though I'm really extra careful when I'm drawing brows. Actually, it's part of where I used to be very careful than the other place when I'm drawing brows. When I'm done with pressing it down, I go with my setting powder to make the place dry instead of oily, and then I dust it out with my brush. Then I go in with my brow gel. I'm using this H and sorry, I think I didn't remember the name of the brow gel. Yeah, but I go with a brow gel, and my tiny flat brush for the brows drawing. But I think the color I use a dark brown, but still it's not really showing much. So that's why I ensure that I use a little bright concealer. Then I go into with my pencil to fill out the outer part, and the pencil is already sharpened because you don't want to be using a thick pencil. So I have already sharpened the pencil to fill out the any lines that is not really filled up. So I just fill it up a little with a small stroke instead of more stroke to give me all that finish look. And so after I'm done with that, I go in with my concealer. I use the same Flawless and the Ezekiel concealer. The Flawless is 2 shades darker, lighter than her skin, and the Ezekiel is in her skin tone. So that I will use the bright one for the cuff side, and then I'll use the dark one for the outside. The reason why I like using a dark foundation for the outside is because of the contour. When you use a dark foundation for the outside, it matches with the contour and give it a finished look at the end instead of using a bright concealer for the outside. Yeah. Do you understand? Anyways, guys, so when I'm done with that, I go in with my powder. But I did the upside first. I apply a little. I didn't put too much on the upside because don't forget there's already foundation there. So rubbing it too much with concealer will actually spoil that place. So I go in with a little concealer for the upside. This is when I'm applying the bright one. The reason why I actually make it necessary to apply the brighter one is because her brows isn't showing that well. So that bright concealer will pop out her skin more. You know, makeup is all about improvise. So when I noticed that the eyeshadow isn't as dark, that's why I go with a brighter shade of the concealer so that the her brows will be showing more. Like just now, as I apply the, just look at it, as I apply the brighter shade of concealer, the brows actually show more than it was showing before. That's what I'm looking for, and that's why I apply the bright shade. So shall I go with my I go with my foundation and concealer. I mix both for the up, and I didn't do much. I'm just following the line small small because there's no much error in the up. So I didn't have any issue with the up. If I want my, I wouldn't even conceal it at all. But I just prefer to conceal it because her brows isn't really showing much. So that at least I could pop out the brows more. Sorry that my hair, my big cap is covering it. Sorry, just I have to just look at that side to see clearly what I'm doing. So sorry. Then I'm going with my powder to blend out the concealer. I use the light color powder for the light concealer side, and I use a dark shade for the dark concealer side so that it go all work out together. When I'm done with that, I go with my eyeshadow palette. I'm going with my eyeshadow first eyeshadow primer that holds the eyeshadow to be showing more. I go with a moderate, then I blend the upper side of the eyeshadow, and by this time I remember that I supposed to actually pick the under eyes because I do not want any fall over to actually fall on the under eyes directly. So I have to ask her to look up a little, not too much, so that I can put the setting, the powder for the baking, at least something that will hold the fallout. So then I go back to blend it again because when you apply eyeshadow and they open the eyes, it shows this cracking. So I go back and blend a little again and add a little more to it. Then I go in with my powder to just rhyme the upside, more like transition first of the upper side instead of just going straight to your eyeshadow application. At this place, she wants to open her eyes, then I tell her no, she shouldn't, because opening eyes when you are doing eyeshadow is actually a little bit tricky because you'll be showing a line. I go with a little dark shade for the upside to just cover any kind of eyeshadow color. Then I go with a darker shade for the outer side. I think I use the powder for the darker shade. Then I go with my eyeshadow palette for the color that I really want. I think the color I use for the middle is purple. Then I mix it with milk color. Then for the inside, I use white. Yeah, I think that's the color I use. Yeah, that's the color I use, guys. Hmm. As I'm doing this voiceover, I just feel like, oh my god, this is so tiring. Like, oh my god, it's not easy doing voiceover. So kindly like my channel so that I can do more, please. Kindly subscribe. And so that's the color I used for the inner. So that's pop, right? Yeah, then I go with milk color to just reduce the brightness of the purple. Instead of applying all at once, I actually like to apply a little to know if it actually matches the person's skin before I go and apply it upwards. So I used to go slowly for my eyeshadow as well because I do not want to apply something that I will not like at the end. Then I go in with another brush to just blend it all together because I don't like the colors I apply showing differently. So I just go in with another brush and a powder just to blend all together to give me a straight line. And I hope my voiceover is okay. Don't worry, with time I'll get used to more voiceover and more nicer one. Just manage this for this particular video, and I hope you are understanding. So that's the point here. You understanding what I'm actually doing. After that, I dust out any kind of fallout before I even go in with anything at all because I do not want to be pressing the color of the eyeshadow into her skin. It's going to spoil everything we've done so far. So I just dust out, and that's the essence of the baking actually, to make firstly to hold any fallout. So I just dust it out. Then I go in with my um I think I didn't know the name of the gel I used for the liner. I'm going with a black liner to just draw out the lines, like to give that eyeshadow a pop look. After I'm done with that, actually I don't know what happened. It doesn't show where I do my um bronzer, apply the glow, and like the video stop or something because I'm the only one recording that this particular video, so I wasn't sure when it actually stopped recording. But as I'm about to edit, I looked for the video where I put my glue and all that. I couldn't see it. So I think the video stopped or something and I didn't realize that. So actually another video I will show you more. I'll take notice more actually. Then from there I just pop out that line. Just like that. I just feel like putting something there to just bring her peace more considering that she's dark in nature. So I just put it there and blend it with powder, but the line is still showing. Yeah, the line is still showing. So I just blended a little with the powder, and I did the same method on the two sides. For the lips, actually, I was going with brown. I plan to go with brown, but because she has a dark outer color, I just go with a dark lips palette instead of using a brown for the lips. Then I just go with dark one because her lips is already dark. when I use the brown, it's not showing the color of the brown. So that's why I changed the method to actually dark. That's why her lips is now showing. I wish I could show you the video, but I couldn't just see any video with the lips and the glow. I didn't see the video, so anyways, I just go with a dark shade for the outer. Then I use the color that you are seeing right now for the inside. Then I go with my gloss because she actually has a dry lips, so I just go with my gloss for the lips to just get that finished look. But before that, I go with my the same Kiss Beauty spray I used to spray all over the face, and I try out on the fan so that it can dry. Then I use my beauty blender to just tap it. After it's about to dry, I just use my beauty blender to tap it in a little before I go with the gloss. As I tell you, I'm working alone, so in some places I have to just go and carry the product, all that. So I just go with the same black again to just bring it more out because I feel like it's not as out as I want it to be. So I just go with the black again to just pop out the face. When I'm done with that, I go with the lip gloss to make everything okay because she has a dry lips. So I just like to put the gloss to make it not too dry. Yeah, not too dry. So after that, then I remove the cap and all. Then I used my bronzer on her neck to give it a glowy skin. And then this is the finished look. So what do you think of this look? Let me know in the comment section. And yes, the packing gel is also done by us. So I hope the look came out great. I hope she's looking beautiful than how she was before we started the makeup. Let me know in the comment section, and please take a second to subscribe and like my channel so that I can do more. And thank you. And I hope my voiceover is okay. Okay then, bye bye. Take care.